I'm still laughing about that. I'm
Yep.
sorry. Give me a second. Good morning, everybody. It is Saturday, December 2nd. We were telling funny stories before we, right before we started,
Yep.
which is a bad idea. Anyway, today we're going to talk about how the MAGA Republicans continue to do their best Wile E. Coyote impression. They come up with these elaborate plans and they plan everything out properly. And as soon as they go to execute their plan, their Acme rocket explodes and the Roadrunner just meeps and keeps on going. So what am I talking about? Today we're going to talk about how the Jan 6 footage is getting released to the public, which is going to do nothing more than fuel conspiracy theories, make fake videos, and pretty much probably get more people arrested, which it is already starting to. Then we have Mr. Comer, Mr. James Comer, and his relentless hunt for Hunter Biden. Well, Hunter Biden said, yeah, sure, I'll testify, but let's do this in public for everybody to see. And then now they're freaking out because they don't know what to do.
Oh, shit.
So, yeah. Like, oh, God. So what's going on, Mike? How are you today?
Good. Actually, we lost power last night in the middle of the night. My wife woke me up. So we're not sure why. And then the power came back on and the dog was all confused. So he kept us up all night. But other than that, I'm pretty good.
Yeah. That kind of happens to us out here in the country. We have the power goes out and it's like, yeah. All right. So anyway, let's get into it. Oh, before we get into it, I do have a big announcement. We were actually asked by Stop Moms for Liberty to be their official podcasters. So we are very humbled, very excited to announce our official collaboration. So we'll be doing a lot more work with them. We have another group called Defensive Democracy coming on the 19th. And Liz McIntyre, founder of Stop Moms for Liberty, will be on this Tuesday, making a return appearance. Wednesday, I'm sorry. This time it'll be Wednesday, talking about the differences between their group and Moms for Liberty. So compare them side by side and you can make the decision for yourself. So we are so excited. And like I said, our humble little show, and all this time I thought I was just talking crazy, but apparently.
Well, that didn't stop.
No, I still do it. That's kind of my thing. So anyway, all right, so let's get into the topics. First, New York Times reports Johnson releases Jan 6 footage video, feeds right-wing conspiracy theories. So the speaker fulfilled the demand of the far right, which has sought thousands of hours of footage to try and rewrite the history of the Capitol attack. On Monday, Mr. Johnson sent out a fundraising email, surprise, surprise, to capitalize on the move. So that's all this was about, was getting some money.
Oh, yeah.
When I ran for this position, I made a promise to release the footage from Jan 6 so Americans could see for themselves what happened that day, rather than opinions of a partisan Jan 6 committee. And I am delivering on that promise. So what do you think about this, Mike?
Well, I guess the first thing is, not that we didn't know before, but clearly Mike Johnson is in the pants, if not just the pocket, of Donald Trump. Because the only person this benefits is Donald Trump. The only group of people that it's going to directly impact in a negative way is Donald Trump's followers, because they're all going to get even more exposure on who was there, and then they're going to get arrested. But I find it amazing that they really think that releasing all the footage of January 6th to a bunch of conspiracy nuts that think that there's a coffee cup on the moon landing pictures, that somehow they're not going to just cherry pick every single second that they can to try and create a narrative that January 6th was just a peaceful little stroll through the Capitol. It was just people trying to experience and feel the halls of government for themselves and just express themselves through calm civil protests. Well, we know that's not what happened. We know. But that's what they want this to be. And that's the only reason Mike Johnson is releasing it, in hopes that it could convince some people through misrepresentation that it was just a peaceful protest.
Yeah, so let's review. I just have a snippet of the Jan 6 committee footage that was released to the public.
Man, I'll never forget that. I remember watching that, every one of those, and some of the footage was just shocking.
And let's go with this.
I hope you're going to stand up for the good of our Constitution and for the good of our country. And if you're not, I'm going to be very disappointed in you. I will tell you right now.
Get back, ladies! Get back, ladies! Breach the line.
Look at them peacefully strolling. Just
I know, right?
Strolling at a leisurely pace.
Okay, so you got thousands of people running at the building.
We're going to give riot warning. We're going to try to get compliance, but this is now effectively a riot.
So now the cops were also... So the narrative is that the police were in on it, but yet at the same time, the police, according to Donald Trump, should be arrested because they beat peaceful protesters. And I don't think any of that looks peaceful. That guy threw a road cone.
I know, right?
Come on. Look how peaceful they are in their tactical gear. Oh, wow, that's peaceful.
Very peaceful.
I mean, they're just expressing their First Amendment right to smash windows. Now, this is something I guarantee you they'll look at and be like, look, they're just moving orderly. They're just protesting. So the point is...
Yeah, peaceful my ass.
The point is that they're, even this many years later, when we're coming closer to an election to potentially put the man responsible for that back in office, and they're still trying to, I guess for lack of a better term, but it's fairly ironic that it fits, they're trying to whitewash, if you will, January 6th. Why? Because who are the people that perpetrated this? White Americans, many of them of a certain particular religion, all brainwashed by Donald Trump and Fox News. So they're trying to whitewash what the rest of us saw, the real history, to retell a narrative that makes them the hero, makes them the martyrs, makes them the victims, like Ashley Babbitt, who wasn't a victim. She was told to stop trying to bang against a window and break windows. And when she didn't, a police officer did his duty. So it's okay when they shoot black people for not having an up-to-date license. But when they are literally trying to defend the Capitol against violent protesters trying to overthrow the government under the command of the president, that's not okay.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
That's not from a peaceful protest right there.
I tried to find pictures of the crap that was smeared on the wall by the MAGA supporters. Now, Donald Trump recently decided to call everyone that isn't a MAGA supporter vermin. You know what vermin do? They shit where they eat and they crap all over the place. And that's what they did to the Capitol. They literally smeared shit on the walls. I guess that's peaceful. They didn't throw it at anyone.
Yeah, they only have one problem now, though. A judge in Colorado has decided that Donald Trump did incite an insurrection. So that is now legal precedent and in writing that Donald Trump is responsible for that day. So no matter what you say on Twitter or on whatever right-wing obscure website that you're on, you can't rewrite what happened. We saw it. Okay, just accept responsibility. Like, stop trying to shift the blame onto other people and other groups. Like, some of these conspiracies we're going to get into are absolutely stupid, and they're being perpetuated by people in Congress, like pipe bomber Marjorie Taylor Greene. But here's some of the cherry-picked footage that they're already going with. So on the left is what they think they want you to believe.
They're just viewing some art.
Exactly. Yeah, they're just taking a tour, peaceful tour. That's all. They just didn't have money for tickets, and they were upset. And then in the next slide, we're walking through the halls, man. What are you talking about?
I mean, there is a point when a serial killer is just walking from a 7-Eleven after getting a cup of coffee, right?
Yeah.
Just because you pick a moment that might not show the full breadth and scope of a scenario doesn't mean it refutes the actual story of what happened.
No, all the video shows
come on.
And every time I watch it from different angles or whatever, it just shows me one thing, that Donald Trump had a half-baked plan. The people followed the half-baked plan, but they did not know what to do after they got in the Capitol. That's why they're walking around.
That's why they wandered around.
No fucking idea what to do now. Well,
they were like,
we made it in, but Donald Trump never said what to do after this.
Well, because I'm pretty sure they expected. Well, I don't think that they know how to think 5 minutes ahead. So I don't know what they
No.
expected. But I think Donald Trump expected that he would greet them there and they would all encircle him and lift him up like the golden god. But honestly, he didn't think that far ahead.
No.
Because he doesn't know how
That's an
anything
idiot.
works. So he was like,
No.
man, if I just get them to do this, I'll win. Okay, but
Donald
what are
Trump
you
was
gonna do?
hoping that was a bullet riddled. He wanted violence that day. He wanted more than the violence that they got.
What he needed was the Capitol Police to act like small town police and just shoot first and never ask questions.
Mhm.
But instead, what we got was a Capitol Police Department that showed probably more restraint than they would have if the complexion of the mob was a little different.
Yeah.
But if
Definitely.
they had started firing on the crowd, I don't know that any of us would be here now, because that would have been enough, such a shocking,
It would have been
graphic,
yeah.
terrifying moment in American history that I think he would have won the narrative if they did that.
Yeah,
So bravo to them
probably.
for not losing their cool.
Yeah, even though, like you said, other groups would have been protesting as the Jan 6 rioters were. It would have been a completely different
Yep.
story.
Yep.
So let me
Well,
play
what
this.
happened? What happened when Black Lives Matter? Didn't they try and remove all the protesters, and he stood a whole bunch of cops on memorials and different places in DC? I remember that.
Yeah. So let me play this next video from the Hill, talking about more Jan 6.
To praise Johnson's decision, some calling for further investigation into what really happened. Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene took to X and posted,
we're going to get to
calling
her.
on Speaker Johnson to create a January 6th select committee. Releasing the tapes is not enough. There needs to be investigations and accountability for all of the lies, deceit, and lives ruined. Every member of the January 6th committee, Nancy Pelosi,
We're going to show you
the
why
FBI,
she posted
DOJ,
that.
DC Police, Capitol Police, January 6th witnesses who lied, all need to be subpoenaed. Criminal referrals must be written, and prosecutions must happen under a Trump DOJ. I've said it all along. MAGA did not do this, and former President Trump weighed in as well, writing on Truth Social. Congratulations to Speaker of the House Mike Johnson for having the courage and fortitude to release all of the January 6th tapes, which will explicitly reveal what really happened on January 6th.
You know, I find it funny that all this stuff is happening after he went to Mar-a-Lago to bend the knee. Remember, when he first got elected to be speaker, he's like, we don't have enough evidence to go forward with impeachment.
We can't possibly do this. And then he
Right.
took a
Then
kid
he
there and
goes-
made a photo op with Trump.
Right. Then he takes his poor little kid to see the orange tyrant. And all of a sudden now they're the party of law and order. And
Again,
we need to be, we need to be going after Biden for his criminality.
We've talked about this plenty of times. Mike Johnson is the decided upon, chosen, polished figurehead of Project 2025, of Christian nationalism, and still at this point, and maybe the only point they have left, their only chance is to get Trump into office, because he is, other than a Mike Johnson who is a true believer in trying to supplant democracy with religious fascism. Donald Trump doesn't believe in anything, but he is such a brute forced bull in a china shop weapon that he is their best, fastest chance to victory. So that he is going to put everything he can, and Mike Johnson, behind Donald Trump so that they can foment this theocracy that they've been building with the destruction of Roe v. Wade, with the attacks on schools and local elections. Donald Trump is the linchpin, because if Donald Trump doesn't win and he finally sees justice for what he's done, I don't know that the religious right, the Mike Johnsons, I don't know that they will be able to get to the level that they're at now ever again.
No,
but that's why it's so important to stop them.
It'll take a long time before it would happen again. But he mentioned Marjorie Taylor Greene in her tweet. Now, she tweeted because of this photo right here. She thought immediately, oh, that's a badge. That is a federal agent dressed, which is the stupidest shit I've ever heard. A federal agent dressed up as a MAGA supporter showing a badge, which was quickly debunked and made her look completely ridiculous. So, yeah, it was not. It's false. This guy was arrested. All right, the footage shows Kevin James Lyons, the Chicago man, who was sentenced in July to more than 4 years in federal prison for his role in the Capitol attack. So Marjorie Taylor Greene went immediately onto like Fox News and to Don Jr.'s show, which we'll show here in a second, to spread this conspiracy that the government was responsible for Jan 6th, even though Donald Trump was in charge of the government at the time of the insurrection. So I don't understand. Did the government break away? I thought everybody was loyal to Donald Trump and he was in charge. Like,
now we really got to make sure that we're very careful and respectful of the mental health surrounding this issue. And we know that some people's memories might not be great, because we heard in Donald Trump's New York fraud trial that he claimed that in 2021, when he was stealing documents and doing things, that he was in office doing important president stuff.
I know.
So if a Donald Trump, the former president, can't actually keep straight when he was in office, maybe it's not that hard to understand why Marjorie Taylor Greene, who has the intelligence of a squished lima bean, would confuse the fact that if you're blaming the federal government, who did it? Well, who was in charge of the federal government?
Right.
Donald Trump. You can't have it both ways. Just like you can't say Joe Biden is a sleepy, stupid, mentally declined, drooling idiot. But he's also the mastermind behind the takedown of Trump and the takeover of the globalist network of the world. You can't have it. You can't have
so good that he's covered his tracks for his entire career.
But he's an idiot.
Right. But
well, Donald Trump, who is an idiot and doesn't cover his tracks, and you could follow every step of the way what every MAGA did, what every horrible, corrupt politician in his government of the Republicans who were elected to protect democracy but helped try to destroy it. We can see all that. We've seen the footage. We've seen the testimony, of which, by the way, is almost exclusively Republicans.
Yep.
Okay. They're trying their best, or they're just insane. I don't know which one it is, but you can't have it both ways, Marge.
So I do have Pete Aguilar's response from a Democrat from California. Before that, let me play Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Margie and Cokie Don.
And I want to remind everybody, too, with this whole Fedsurrection idea, Christopher Wray, who is the director of the FBI, was appointed by Donald Trump. So that argument, I don't understand at all either. But let's go with it.
And beating up cops on January 6th, I thought there was very little of that. I didn't see almost any of it. I wonder how many of it was FBI people, from the buses of people that they don't talk about, that we're now reading about, came in there. The FBI will not release the videos because it would, and I quote, expose too many of their undercover agents. I'm like, wait a minute. So, of course we knew. Because just like every other conspiracy theory that comes true every damn time,
not one conspiracy
we knew it was
come
happening.
True.
We knew it was the Fedsurrection. No matter how much we talk about it, no matter how much we know, so few people, even on our side, have really been able to talk about the firsthand experience, what it was like being in that building that day.
Well, you weren't in the building, Donnie. You were standing outside watching it with your daddy.
That was my third day on the job as a member of Congress. I couldn't even find my way from the House chamber back to my office. I couldn't even find my way to a bathroom, let alone be able to give anyone a tour. And I was accused of giving insurrection tours in the Capitol.
You were.
Which is
that
so ridiculous.
Also is on footage you posted on Twitter that you were giving tours like the day before.
I know. It's like, don't believe what we told you before.
But like, it's scary the level of their followers that they know they have. They know that their base, which is dwindling, which is already wishy-washy on whether they should or should not vote because they keep being told they should or shouldn't. But you're hinging all of this, and the things that they're saying, the average person, the average American, is not a complete and utter failure of a thinking creature. Okay, so most of us can reason our way through this nonsense, but like, who is she talking directly to? She knows she's not going to sway any people. They're just keeping their base simmering. So that's who she's talking to, a base that won't know how to verify a claim, don't know how to verify sources. Take everything that they're told at face value from the people that they have chosen to take orders from. Because when you don't think and you don't verify yourself and you just regurgitate nonsense, all you're doing is taking orders. It doesn't have to be put in the form of an order, but if you're just doing the bidding, you're taking orders, consciously or not. So that's who she's talking.
What it is. This is nothing other than an opportunity to raise money because the RNC is broke. Donald Trump's funds are running out. And you saw in the article we showed you earlier, immediately after releasing the footage, Mike Johnson starts to fundraise. Who do you think that money's for? I mean, come on. This is blatantly obvious. That's all it is. They're desperate for money. Now they're throwing everything they can at the wall. in order to remain relevant, because let's be honest, Biden is outraising almost all the Republican candidates combined.
Even the
as far
local,
as
the
fundraising
smaller
goes.
ones, the smaller races, the Senate
Yeah.
candidates, the congressional candidates are dramatically outraising the Republicans. Why? Because people are sick of it. And unfortunately, or fortunately, it depends on what part of the conversation you want to go towards. The people on the right side of history tend to be the quietest.
Exactly. Let me
So
play.
it's working, but we just
Yeah.
don't feel like it's working.
Right, exactly. Let me play Representative Aguilar's response.
Yeah, this is good.
I think it's incredibly dangerous. I said this over the last years. I'm not aware of any heads up that was given to House Democratic leadership before that. I viewed this as Speaker Johnson fulfilling a campaign promise and pledge.
Woof.
He had pledged to his conference that he was going to make it available.
Yet again,
he
Republicans
didn't
do what they
obviously
claim
care
the
about
Democrats
the security
did.
and safety
Mhm.
of the camera angles of what was being shown. That wasn't part of his calculus. He was running a campaign and fulfilling a campaign promise. That happens. I understand that. I think it's incredibly dangerous to play little snippets. The men and women who
Thank you.
protected this Capitol complex went through a lot. And to play snippets that Tucker Carlson
You got to remind that
asks you to
cops
play,
that were there committed
just
suicide in the
because
following
you
days
think
afterwards.
that,
It was
you
so
know,
traumatic.
Donald Trump wants to see it, is not helping us
The
at all.
gravity of
And,
having to
so I
actually
think
defend
it's a terrible precedent. I think
actual,
it's
literal
dangerous. It puts
democracy.
people's
Like they were like,
the
oh, this is
security,
just a normal
at
day.
risk,
And
security
then they got
posture of
beat
the
with
Capitol complex
fire
at risk.
extinguishers and flagpoles.
Yeah, and then Donald Trump Jr. is like, I didn't see any cops getting hit. Well, if they didn't get, all right, whatever, dipshit.
Yeah, whatever.
So all the Jan 6 footage, like we said before, is going to do is not going to get anybody off of the charges they currently have.
It's going to get,
but it is going
more.
to bring charges for more people. There's a group out there, USA Today reports, called the Sedition Hunters. They've identified large numbers of riot participants using images from social media news reports. So several sedition hunters contacted by USA Today said they were cautiously positive about the release of the new footage, calling it a game changer they will hope will fill in the gaps in their knowledge. So they use stuff like facial recognition, other types of software to identify people that were at the Capitol riot. So it's going to backfire in their face. There goes the Acme rocket exploding right there. Because all you're doing is going to, and you know what? That's all they should. The people that go to jail as a result of this leak of footage, the only people they can thank is Mike Johnson and Donald Trump, because they will be the reason they go to jail. Because as of right now, a lot of people still got away with it.
Oh, yeah.
This footage is going to bring a lot of that to light, and there's going to be more prosecutions.
But that's always what it's been about. These people are disposable. A Donald Trump would never even touch to shake the hands of any of these MAGA supporters.
Oh, God, no.
So none of them care about the cannon fodder, right? These are the people on the front lines that are meant to be mowed down.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to reap the rewards of your victory.
Exactly.
Okay? That's all this is. This is yet again a new ruling class of fascists that are using people to get political, social, monetary benefits for themselves so they can be in power and enact a plan that they devise to make their lives better. Because when it comes down to it, they're not going to like make this new fancy world for everyone. It's still going to just be for an elite selected group. It's just those people will have different names and different titles. So they're using the people yet again who are going to go into prison, right? Because half the people that got convicted or took pleas said, yeah, we did this because Donald Trump. We did this because of Fox News. We did this because of all the rhetoric we were told. So all releasing this footage does is you have the group of people like sedition hunters, which are going to find the seditionists and hold them accountable or help hold them accountable. But then you have the people that are going to use the footage to try and manipulate what actually happened, who are going to try and get people off of this. I mean, it's just going to rile people up. All it does is create chaos and hurt the very people that it's trying to protect.
The violence will ramp up between now and, I don't even think election day. I think now and Donald Trump's trial with Jack Smith.
Yes,
in
I agree.
DC. Between now and then, I think there's going to be a lot of ramp up in violence, a lot of ramp up in hateful rhetoric, unless they throw a stupid ass in jail, which he should be. Donald Trump's gotten more chances and more leeway than any criminal defendant in American history. I promise you that. He should be in prison. But anyway, next topic. So, all right, what happened with the whole, James Comer wanting to question Hunter Biden? Jim Jordan, remember this tweet? I'm glad you pulled this up, Mike. This was back, and this is coming from somebody who did not come in for a deposition. Donald Trump Jr. sat for 2 depositions with Congress. Why can't Hunter Biden?
So if anyone forgot,
so glad you asked.
The January 6th committee subpoenaed Jim Jordan, and Jim Jordan almost literally shoved his middle finger in their face and was just like, no, I'm not going. Now, it's funny how there's no repercussions of that, because if a Democrat did that, my God, would they be impeached in a second or censured or whatever? But fine, the Republicans get leeway. But now you have James Comer, who himself is a raging hypocrite, retweeting another raging hypocrite about Hunter Biden not sitting for depositions, which, by the way, he agreed to. Oh, but that wasn't good enough. And why?
So what did Hunter Biden say? Well, let's watch this video and find out.
Hunter Biden has agreed to testify before the Republican-led House Oversight Committee on December 19th. That's according to a letter sent to the panel this morning. The news comes after the committee issued a subpoena to Hunter Biden in early November, summoning the president's son to appear as part of an escalation of the Republicans' impeachment inquiry into President Biden.
Even though they're
at the same time, 2 sources tell NBC News this morning the president's brother, James Biden, also has been in communication with the House committee after it asked him to appear for an interview with the panel on December 6th. Oversight Committee Chair, Republican James Comer of Kentucky, issued the subpoenas, which focus on the Biden family's business dealings. So, Jonathan Lemire, Hunter Biden had been subpoenaed for closed-door testimony. What he and his attorney are saying, let's do it out in the open so you can't manipulate what I said in the hearing. I agree, says Hunter Biden, to public testimony here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and this is part of a new, far more aggressive strategy from Hunter Biden.
I like
and
this
his
new strategy.
Including
Take it to him, man. Take it to him.
But did you see, it was like, I don't know, Fox and Friends or one of the dumbass shows that they put on, and they were actually sitting there going, this makes so much sense, because if they do the hearings in public, then Hunter Biden can spin what, no, jackass, if they're in public, you can't spin it. That's literally the point, because if you do it behind closed doors, the people who run the committee are going to selectively let out what they want.
Right. Like,
just like
these people convinced.
Like, just otherwise. Like the January 6th footage that they can cherry pick, they would then cherry pick what Hunter Biden said or try and manipulate it in a way. Why wouldn't they want it open?
Right. They would take 1 or 2 sentences totally out of context.
Yep.
And release that, and then everybody be like, "Oh my God, they were right."
But the funny part is, you have a Donald Trump who's fighting. The Georgia case is going to be televised, but he's fighting for the one in Washington to be televised. So he wants it to be televised, but it's interesting. He wants it so he could try and control the narrative, but he can't because if it's televised, everyone will see what an asshole he is. Hunter Biden, I don't care if he's found guilty or not. He's not a public servant. I don't give a shit about him. If he did a crime, fine. But out in public is the only way to do it, so that you know for sure that a party who has already made their policy to manipulate truth not do it again.
And it's still under oath. I mean, it's a deposition under oath. He can't lie.
I would rather, like if I'm the Republicans, I say let's do it, because if you can catch him. But that's the problem. It's like they don't even have a strategy, because they're not going on anything. They're not going after Hunter Biden because they feel that Hunter Biden is a criminal. They say he's a criminal. He might be a criminal, but they're saying he is in a way to link his criminality with his father. But the gun charges have nothing to do with Joe Biden and the supposed money situation, which we know isn't true. So it's like, yet again, they're trying to have it both ways. They're trying to show everyone out in the open, but trying to keep it in the public. Which is it? You can't just make up a narrative.
There's one question I hope comes up during this deposition, and especially if it's public, is because I've heard a lot less talk of Ukraine lately in relation to Hunter Biden. They have started focusing on China and Biden. And I don't know. I don't know how this story slipped through the cracks. I thought this would be headline news, but apparently a couple of Giuliani's contacts from Ukraine were arrested for treason, working with Russia specifically to provide disinformation to the United States about the Biden family. So I hope this comes up during the hearing. I would love this to be a question. Like, how do you guys explain? So basically, every bit of information that Giuliani gave whoever about Hunter Biden from Ukraine is probably bullshit.
And they were the smoking gun testimony that the Republicans kept talking about. Notice they don't exist anymore.
Right. You don't hear them talking about it anymore. But yeah, I hope this comes back to light. I have a headline. I have the article that I forgot I wasn't even planning on bringing it up this show, but I'm actually hoping it comes up. So anyway, so Hunter Biden offers to testify publicly. House Republicans, they're not interested. Well, that's weird. Our lawfully on the right here, our lawfully issued subpoena to Hunter Biden requires him to appear for a deposition on December 13th. We expect full cooperation with their subpoena for a deposition, but also agree that Hunter Biden should have the opportunity to testify in public at a future date.
Why would you have him do testimony twice?
He would never get the future date. It's bullshit.
Yeah, well, that's
true. They just want to do it behind closed doors. They'll never give him that future date.
This whole thing, their complete lack of reality and lack of logic throughout all of this is because the only plan the Republican Party has is for Donald Trump to be back in power, so all this could disappear and they could just be despicable oligarchs that rule over us. They don't expect any of this to go their way. They need it to go their way.
So let's see the responses after Hunter Biden, like all hell broke loose after Hunter Biden's like, yeah, I'll do it. And this one's from Jesse Dollemore.
He's trying to obstruct. He's trying to sully our investigation by testifying publicly. Here's Congressman Ben Klein, a dipshit Republican congressman from Virginia.
Very well said.
Well, this committee is trying to get the facts, get to the bottom of the corruption that was going on in the Biden family between Hunter Biden and the rest of the family, and exactly follow the money to where it leads. And they're preparing a report to give to the Judiciary Committee. The Democrats are stalling. They've essentially sent the message to Hunter Biden that we will protect you if it's in public and for show. You won't have to give any facts. You won't have to give any information.
Hold on, time out.
As you would in a deposition.
Wait,
did this guy just say you won't have to give any facts at a sworn under oath deposition?
Isn't that literally why you subpoena someone?
At the deposition.
You swear them in, and that's literally what a deposition is.
I want to scream right now. It's so dumb. All right, let's watch the rest of this nonsense.
Because in a deposition, it takes hours and hours and hours. You ask the little questions that won't be kind of interfered with by counsel for the other side, by members from the other side who just want to play for the cameras. So that's what this is all about. It's about
talking about Democrats wanting to play for the cameras. Are you high?
And this House of Representatives.
Democrats are allergic to the cameras. You never see Democrats.
I wish the Democrats would be on camera more often.
Yeah, like the Republicans are literally camera hogs. That's all they care about.
Two random guys talking shit about the stuff the Democrats should be doing. Like, we're doing your jobs for you. Stop it. You guys get paid. We don't. I mean, stop it. You guys really need to step up to the plate.
But like, who is he even talking to? Like, that's what I'm trying to understand. They don't even have a coherent plan for messaging anymore. They're just spewing shit and assuming that their media outlets will spin it in a way that just confuses everyone and everyone forgets about it. But then they all get paid. They all get their 5 minutes. They all get their sound bites that they could put on Twitter. And that's all this is.
It's exactly right. That is all this is, man. Get on it, because they don't try things in court or when evidence matters. They try things in the public opinion, court of public opinion.
They're the biggest witness tamperers. The Republican Party is essentially a massive witness tampering organization.
Yeah, they're trying to undermine the vote right now. They're really trying to rig votes to sway in their direction because they know people hate their policies and they know they're not going to win. So anyway, let me play James Comer being a complete and utter muppet by actually responding, and then I have a little bit of Mike Johnson to go with it.
Yeah.
As these congressional investigation, these hearings go, you got 20 members on each side that have 5 minutes each. We have tens of thousands of pages of documents where we need to sit down and ask specific substantive questions without filibustering, without interruptions, without going 5 minutes back and forth with Jamie Raskins and Dan Goldman and little Moskowitz jumping up and down.
Always insulting.
Yeah, they can't do anything other than insult.
We are the rule of law team. The Republican Party stands for the rule of law.
Yep.
The people in charge of this are doing this thoroughly,
wait.
carefully, methodically.
Wait. We represent the rule of law. Wow, our leader has got 91 charges. Did he really just say that? Oh, that's too good.
All the facts.
Sorry, I had
to do this appropriately and to do it in a manner that upholds our constitutional responsibility.
This guy is
requires
insidious.
Time. It requires a sound process. You don't rush something.
Oh, stop!
You better rush, bud, because you better do whatever you can. And I'm telling this to him very seriously. Mr. Speaker, if you think that you can sully the waters and do whatever you can to get Donald Trump reelected, you better start doing it, because we have a year left, and there are a lot of people that are mobilized, are armed with facts and passion, that are going to do everything they can to stop you in a peaceful, legal manner. And all you have is fear, disinformation, and a network of absolute lunatics who aren't even sure if they're going to vote because their own guy, their leader, is telling them not to bother to vote. So get your house in order before you start trying to take down democracy, because you don't have the foundation you think you do. That's the problem. They're not in a position to win. They're in a position to happen to win.
And that part, and I like to thank Midas Touch again for the footage and the reporting. Those guys are amazing. If you guys haven't seen it yet, Midas Touch Network actually just interviewed President Biden, Ben Meiseles, which I would love to have an opportunity like that. And going back to Mike Johnson, the part of that video there is him actually talking about how Trump's impeachments were unlawful and they were just politically motivated, but the ones against Biden, those are justified, even though there's no physical evidence of wrongdoing.
You know what's funny?
And they've not. If these guys, the Republican GOP, the MAGA GOP, is so happy and so trigger happy to send out information and to share information, do you honestly think if they had evidence on Joe Biden that you wouldn't already know about it, do you think they would make you wait 2 weeks every single time? Do you think they would keep telling you, oh, it's coming, we're getting the evidence? No, they would have been blowing this up on every major news outlet, every front page newspaper. We would all know about it. They don't have any evidence, and honestly, I'm tired of hearing about it. Just, can you guys do your fucking jobs for once? And
all they have
is been almost a year now, and you haven't accomplished a goddamn thing. What do you tell your constituents when you go for re-election next year? Yeah, re-elect us because we're a pain in the ass and we cause our government to run like molasses.
We argue just to figure out who we want as speaker, and then after that, we change who we want as speaker.
Right, exactly. So Jamie Raskin responds beautifully to the fact that now they're backtracking and they're complaining about Hunter Biden, because I'm going to show the video in a future episode, but Jamie Raskin tears them apart. Like, are you kidding me? So House Oversight Committee ranking member Jamie Raskin ripped his GOP colleagues for rejecting Hunter Biden's request for an open hearing on December 13th, when the president's son is set to appear for a closed-door deposition. In the statement, Tuesday, I have trouble not laughing about this. Raskin called GOP move an epic humiliation and a frank confession that they are simply not interested in the facts and have no confidence in their own case or ability of their own members to pursue it, referring to the Republicans on his committee. Thank you, Jamie Raskin, for putting that beautifully.
It's the same move as the Trump 2 weeks. All you have to do
2 weeks, baby,
is say that something is going to happen or that something is true. And if it, I knew someone once who said that the reason we can't disprove that dragons ever existed is because we haven't found their bones yet. But that's the exact same thing as what's going on. Like, we have the proof, but we don't. But since we don't have that's what the 2 weeks is. You say whatever you want, you make a claim, and then it never shows up, and you go, yeah, but we're still working on it. But show it to me. Yeah, we're still working on it.
They have their minions so confused, though. And I mean, it's circular logic. It's like, okay, we have a made up fact, then we're going to try and find some evidence. And then the fact that we don't have evidence is the evidence. It's a cover up.
Yeah.
So they must be guilty. And then we're back to square one with a new made up fact for them to chase their tails.
Then you have a Mike Johnson who says that the impeachments of Trump were nonsense, politically motivated, attacks. And you just brought up, Jeremy, that the people that were the central figures of at least one of those impeachments were just arrested in Ukraine for treason, for doing the thing that the impeachment said that they did.
I know. That's crazy. I can't believe still that's not a bigger story.
Come on.
We're going to have to talk about that more.
Again, if you just punt and look at it, the reason the impeachments went nowhere is why? Because the Republicans refused to hold them accountable. So what they essentially did is punted it 2 weeks. Nope, goodbye. Forget about it for another 2 weeks. And then everyone forgot about it.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, you can make up your own minds. I mean, it's just more ridiculousness. It's more Acme Dynamite exploding in the coyote's face. And they should be embarrassed if they had any emotion or any
They don't
soul.
have shame. They're shameless.
I don't even know how they sleep at night. Some of these people, like Mike Johnson, the dude is creepy and
because
evil.
Self-righteous pricks sleep very well.
Man, narcissism. I'm telling you,
that guy goes to sleep every night going, "I am going to build the most beautiful, perfect Christian nation, and I know because it is my mission." That's how insane these people are.
You're absolutely right. So with that, I think that's all we're gonna go over for today, because talking about these people gives me a damn headache after a while. You got anything else, Mike, before we go?
No, other than I want to reiterate how excited, humbled, and amazed we are in our partnership with Stop Moms for Liberty and a few other groups that are doing their best to fight the fascism. So please watch our show on Wednesday when we have Liz Mkhitaryan, the founder of Stop Moms for Liberty, on again to basically launch what is going to be a weekly segment where we either have some guests on from Stop Moms for Liberty or other people associated with them. Because everything we talked about today is part of the ongoing coup. It's part of a fundamental lack of respect for democracy that one major political party continues to show. And it seems like while the Democrats maybe are starting to get a little vocal and fight back, we're going to win this on the ground. We're going to win this because of the people who value democracy and want to fight back. So that's really all I want to say is hold on, get ready, because we are very happy to be part of that fight.
Yeah, we're about to be Moms for Liberty's worst nightmare because they can't handle this level of sarcasm. They don't know what's coming. Also, I am trying to find the dad who keeps speaking at these meetings. I found him on TikTok, and I sent him a message. I want to get him on the show to talk about what he's doing, because I don't think we get a lot of dads' perspectives about what's going on with their kids in schools and such. So I think that's important as well. So anybody who knows him, tell them we're looking for them. That'd be awesome. Also, if you want to find out how to fight against Moms for Liberty, Stop Moms for Liberty's Linktree information is not only on our channel page, but it's also in the description of this video, along with our Instagram stuff, if you guys want to follow us on Instagram. And like I said at the beginning of the show, Liz is going to be on Tuesday. Tammy's coming back. We're going to talk about voter rights acts the following week. And then the week after that, we've got the group Defensive Democracy coming on. So we are extremely excited. So we might be small, but we are extremely ambitious, very creative, and we like using the facts to get our point across. So I promise one thing on our shows, we'll never mislead you. We try and do as much of our homework as, we want to be as accurate as possible, even though we're just a
and we will own up to any mistakes, because that's important.
Absolutely, because that's what it's about. Like, if you make a mistake, you own up to it. You don't just continue pretending it's okay. All right, so don't forget to like and subscribe. We will be back tomorrow evening around 8 p.m. to do our weekly review. And yeah, other than that, have a good rest of your Saturday.